Rain pounded the streets, drumming against the grand ballroom's windows like an impatient heartbeat. Inside, laughter, clinking glasses, and subtle power plays filled the air. Adrián leaned against a polished pillar, fists pressing lightly to the marble, counting the golden chandeliers above him. 1, 2, 3, 38. He didn't need the count. It was his mind's anchor against the chaos. His father, Don Vallon, had insisted he attend, wear the tailored suit, smile at the right faces, play the obedient son. Every second, however, felt like chains tightening around his chest. The crowd pressed in, a sea of eyes demanding attention, every handshake a subtle negotiation. Then she appeared. A woman in a flowing emerald gown moved with effortless grace, parting the chaos like water. Adrián's pulse quickened. She wasn't performing, trying to impress. She simply existed, and in that moment the world fell away. Their eyes met. Something shifted. Without hesitation, she strode toward him, calm, unflinching. "You look like you could use a break," she said softly, her accent threading through her words like silk. "Care to dance?" Adrián's throat went dry. No one ever asked him directly, not like this. I don't dance well," he muttered, barely audible over the orchestra. "Neither do most here," she replied with a faint smile. "But they pretend anyway. Come on, just one song. If you hate it, you can go back to counting." Blinking, he hesitated. How did she know? She didn't wait for a response. Her hand extended, firm but gentle. He let her lead him to the dance floor. Muscles stiffened, nerves screaming, but her grip grounded him. "Follow my lead," she whispered as the first notes of a soft waltz began. "And if anything feels overwhelming, just tell me." He focused on her face, blocking the crowd, whispers, judgment. 3 minutes and 42 seconds later, he realized he was breathing easier, chest lighter. The music ended, but the moment lingered. "See, not so bad," she said, stepping back with care. Who are you?" he asked, searching for words. "Lena," she replied. "I teach dance. I was supposed to perform tonight, but dancing with you, it's the first real moment I've had all evening." Before he could respond, a firm hand landed on his shoulder. His father's presence cut through the warmth like ice. "Adrián, it's time to greet the council members." He nodded, glancing back at Lena. "Thank you." Her smile reached her eyes. "Anytime." That night, Adrián returned to his room, but he wasn't restless. For the first time, he felt seen, not as the heir, not as Don Vallon's son, but as himself. Unknown to him, his father had noticed everything. Later, a phone call was made. "Find out everything about the woman my son danced with tonight. Everything." 3 days later, Lena noticed a sleek black sedan parked across the street from her studio. Windows black as night. At first, she dismissed it, wealthy neighborhood expensive cars, but it reappeared daily. Her instincts sharpened. "Girl, you need to be careful," warned her friend Amira. "That family, they're dangerous, connected, don't draw their attention." "I just danced with someone," Lena said lightly. "One song, that's it." Amira's gaze was sharp. "It's never just that with people like them. Promise me you'll be careful." Lena promised. She didn't alter her routine. She had fought too hard to build her studio, a space where movement healed. Yet an uneasy sense of being watched clung to her. On Thursday evening, as she locked up, footsteps echoed behind her. She spun, keys clutched defensively. Adrián stood under the street lamp, hands in his coat pockets, uncertain. "Adrián, how did you?" "I'm sorry," he rushed. "I asked where you taught. I know it seems strange, but I need your help." Lena studied him. "What kind of help?" "To teach me," he said, voice low, almost fragile. "To really dance, not just at a gala, but properly." "Why?" "When we danced, I felt quiet. Everything, the chaos, expectations, it all stopped. I need that." Her instincts screamed danger. This family, this world, she knew enough to stay away. But looking at him, she saw someone adrift who had just found a lifeline. "All right," she said, "but this stays private. No family, no guards, no complications." Relief softened his features. Thank you so much." Over the next 2 weeks, Adrián came 3 times a week. Lena adjusted her lessons to his rhythm, limits, and sensitivities. Slowly, he began to transform. "You're a natural," she said one evening, watching him execute a complex sequence flawlessly. "You feel music differently than most." His face flushed. He had never been praised for what his father valued: business, influence, control, but this made sense to him. Their lessons became more than instruction. In quiet moments, they shared stories. Adrián spoke of suffocating expectations, a world demanding masks and roles. Lena shared her journey, caught between cultures, building a life that allowed expression without judgment. "Do you ever feel like you're performing?" he asked after a lesson. "Every day," she admitted. "Until I dance, then I'm just me." "That's what I want," he said softly. "To just be me, not the air, not the disappointment, not the problem to manage, just me." She squeezed his hand. "Then here, that's who you'll be." The tranquility ended abruptly. One Tuesday evening, the studio door burst open. 3 men in black suits entered with lethal purpose. Adrián froze. "Mr. Vallon," the lead man said, voice flat, "your father requests your immediate presence." "I'm not done here," Adrián replied, voice trembling. Lena stepped forward. "The lesson ends in 30 minutes, then he'll go." The lead man's eyes shifted. "Miss Acoy," he said, using her full name like a weapon. "Don Vallon also wishes to speak with you. Now would be convenient." Adrián went pale. "No, she has nothing to do with this." "You will come voluntarily," the man said, "or we'll make other arrangements." Lena met Adrián's eyes. Fear, apology, shame, she squeezed his shoulder. "It's okay, let's go." The drive to the estate was suffocating. Adrián's hands were white-knuckled. Lena wanted to comfort him, but every word could be reported. The estate was massive, imposing. Lena was led to an ornate study, scented with cigars and old money. Don Vallon sat behind a desk so large it seemed to dominate the room. His eyes, dark and penetrating, mirrored Adrián's. "Miss Acoy," he said, "please sit." "Do you know who I am?" he asked. "Yes," she replied. "And yet you've allowed my student, your son, time alone with me." "Expect me to believe there are no ulterior motives, no attempt to manipulate my son." "I expect you to believe what you want," she said. "The truth is simple. Your son wanted peace. I taught him nothing more." "Peace," his voice sharpened. "Marcello doesn't need peace, he needs strength, survival." "Perhaps he needs both," Lena countered. "You know nothing about him," Don Vallon said. "Then why does he look suffocated around you?" The words slipped out. Silence deafening. He stood slowly, weight like a physical force. Lena felt a surge of defiance. "You're trying to shape him, not let him be himself." "What do you want from him?" "Nothing. I want him to discover who he is." A faint laugh escaped him. "You're brave or foolish, perhaps both." "You may continue teaching him," he said, "but under conditions. Weekly security checks, reports, no harm or manipulation. Agreed." Agreed. Weeks followed, tense but transformative. Adrián immersed himself in dance, fear of losing the opportunity driving him. Lena taught with caution and dedication. Then one Friday night, chaos, screeching tires. A black van. 3 men jumped out, moving with intent. "Where?" Vallon's son, one demanded. "I don't know," Lena said. A noise inside betrayed Adrián's presence. Lena acted instantly, shoving him into the storage closet. "Go! Don't come out! Call your father." The men stormed, smashing furniture. Lena stood firm. "You're loyal," the leader sneered. "Do you know what Don Vallon would pay?" "You won't get the chance," Lena replied. Minutes passed like hours. Then glass shattered, Don Vallon's men moving with precision. Within seconds, intruders subdued. Don Vallon appeared, scanning for injuries. "Are you hurt?" "No," Lena said. Marcello emerged from the closet, pale, trembling. Father and son embraced, tension breaking after years. Later, Lena found herself back in the study. Adrián sat beside her. "Nakamura family," Don Vallon explained. "They tried to exploit an opportunity. He wasn't easy to target." Lena glanced at Adrián with pride. Tools she taught, focus, breathing, worked. I failed to see his actual strengths, Don Valen admitted. Attention to detail, calm under pressure, invaluable. He is invaluable. Tears filled Adrián's eyes. I never thought I'd hear you say that. And you, Don Valen said to Lena, put yourself in danger. Why? Because he deserves protection. Because he's Adrián. He matters. Months passed. The studio expanded. Adrián volunteered as assistant instructor, guiding nervous students with patience. Lena watched him, seeing the boy who once suffocated now thriving. Later, alone in the studio, Adrián spoke softly. That night at the gala, why did you choose me? Because you needed to be seen, Lena replied. I'm glad you saw me, he said. I spent years feeling invisible. You made me feel I could be exactly as I am. You are always enough, she whispered. He extended his hand. One more dance, for old time's sake. Lena laughed. Just one. Maybe more than one, he admitted. They moved together, steps familiar, a choreography of trust. The music swelled. Every turn carried courage, every glide possibility. Life could be lived fully, authentically. One dance changed everything. The dances after transformed their lives. If this story touched your heart, hit the like button. Subscribe for more incredible stories where African depth meets Korean rhythm, and drop a comment telling us which moment resonated with you most. Your support helps us bring more powerful narratives to life. Remember, sometimes one moment, one act of courage, one dance can open doors you never imagined. Keep moving forward with courage, authenticity, and heart. Months passed since the grand opening of Lena's new studio wing. The Movement and Mind program had grown beyond expectations, serving dozens of young people who had never before found a space to express themselves. Adrián, once a tense, isolated heir, now moved through the studio with calm confidence, guiding nervous students with gentle patience. Remember to breathe with the music, he said softly to a young boy struggling to hold a spin. Let it guide you, don't fight it. The boy nodded, tentative, and slowly began to move in time. Adrián smiled, pride shining in his eyes. Lena watched from the sidelines, a warm satisfaction filling her chest. Every student he helped, every small victory he celebrated, reminded her of how far he had come. Later that evening, as the studio emptied, Adrián and Lena cleaned up together. The routine was quiet, almost peaceful, a stark contrast to the chaos of the Valen Gala or the attempted kidnapping months before. You've changed, Lena said, wiping down a bar. You're not just dancing, you're alive in a way you weren't before. Adrián paused, looking down at the polished floor. I was invisible before, he admitted, but now I feel like I matter, not because of my family or the name I carry, but because of what I can do and who I am. Lena smiled, reaching out to squeeze his hand. You always mattered, Adrián. You just needed to see it for yourself. Just then, a car rolled up outside. Adrián glanced at it, brow furrowing. I don't recognize that car, he muttered. Lena's instincts went immediately on alert. Before they could react, a man stepped out. Dressed in a sleek suit, sunglasses hiding his eyes, he walked directly to the door. Adrián's heart pounded. Who is that? Let's find out, Lena said, stepping forward protective. The man removed his glasses. Mr. Valen sends his regards, he said smoothly, handing them an envelope. Adrián exchanged a glance with Lena and opened it carefully. Inside was a single sheet of paper, typed neatly. Your father requests a meeting. Something urgent has come up concerning the family business. He insists it's time for you to take a more active role. Come prepared. Adrián's jaw tightened. Looks like my life is about to get complicated again. Lena placed a hand on his shoulder. Whatever happens, you're ready. You've learned to stand in your own strength. Adrián smiled faintly. And I'll have you to thank if I survive it. As he folded the letter, a shadow moved across the street, someone watching. Lena's instincts flared. We're being observed, she whispered. Adrián's eyes darkened. Let them watch. I've learned to move differently now. I won't be their victim. Together, they turned back to the studio, the late evening city lights reflecting on the polished floor. The music of the night, traffic, distant voices, a student's faint laughter in memory, felt like a heartbeat beneath everything. And in that moment, Adrián realized something he had never felt before. Fear no longer controlled him. The dance, the lessons, the connection with Lena, it had changed him forever. And whatever came next, he would face it as himself. Not the heir, not the pawn, not the invisible son, just Adrián. Lena watched him, her smile small but proud. "You've become someone unstoppable," she said. Adrián glanced at her, a spark of humor in his eyes. "Maybe, but it's better with a partner." They shared a quiet laugh. Outside, the city hummed with possibility. Inside, the studio glowed like a sanctuary, a place where courage, trust, and movement intertwined. And somewhere in the shadows beyond the lights, the world waited. New challenges, new dangers, but Adrián and Lena had learned something the world could never take away: the strength to dance through life together on their own terms.